Jay Norvell is the worst coach in football history.
And that's saying a lot when you got this man walking around. But that's not the here nor there. Jay Norvell was born in Wisconsin and has been on the football scene basically since he could walk. Bouncing around coaching jobs from college football to NFL, he was bouncing around the game of football like a stripper on a street corner. But nonetheless, what brought him to Colorado was the enticement of that he was going to be the head honcho of Colorado football. That was until the one and only Deion Primetime Sanders came into town, basically trying to rejuvenate not only CU Buff football, but Colorado football as a whole, because we all know the Denver Broncos are just going down the toilet minute by minute, game by game. But Jay Norvell really put his name on notice when he had this to say about Deion.
I don't care if they hear this in Boulder. I told ESPN, I took my hat off and I took my glasses off. When I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me.
Where do I even begin? First of all, Jay Norvell's talking about how his mother raised him. Why don't we talk about how that's a personal shot at the way Deion's mother raised him? He's basically saying that Deion's mom didn't raise him right. And for those that are close to Deion, and for people who know Deion from a glimpse of his football highlights or even from his coaching highlights, people know that he is very close with his mother, more tight-knit than any other mother-son bond I have ever seen before. So that does not sit right with Deion, or even Shador, or even Deion Sanders Jr., or even Shiloh Sanders at all. Second of all, what gives you the right to talk about Deion when you, as a coach, not even as a player, as a coach, hasn't accomplished anything? You haven't accomplished jack shit in life, and yet you choose to go after Deion in the way that you're going after him? And third of all, where have you been the past 35, 45 years? Have you been living under a rock? That is prime time Deion Sanders. That's who he is. Look good, feel good, play good. Look good, feel good, coach good. He is Deion through and through, and his mother always taught him to be himself. And I'm just appalled at how Jay Norvell is too stupid to understand that.
See, back where I come from, when somebody says something about your mama, you put one foot back. So you was ready to get down. He didn't directly say something about my mama, but he alluded to the fact that his mama raised him, and my mama didn't raise me right.
I raised him right. Also told him to always be yourself. And if you have to kick ass, kick ass.
Now, as far as the game went, it was a great game. The Buffaloes really had to overcome some adversity, unlike we've ever seen in this year. The Rams, though, they played like a team that did not win 3 games last year. Now, I know this is a rivalry game, Battle of Colorado, so these two teams didn't need any more motivation to play hard against each other. And that brings me to the story of the game. The hit that Henry Blackburn laid on Travis Hunter was downright, straight up dirty. Call it what you want. You could say it's a mixture of other things. You could say, oh, well, it's a game, it's football. I understand, and what goes on between those lines goes on between those lines. But it was a straight up dirty play. After the whistle was blown, incomplete pass, ball already hit the ground. Henry took a free shot at probably the best player in the country and forced him out for the game and knocked him out for 3 to 4 weeks. And Henry could have seriously injured Travis to the point where Travis's career could have been in future jeopardy. Luckily, that's not the case. Travis is expected to make a full recovery, but still, I understand why people are upset, and I understand why the whole student body of CU is upset about the injury more than Travis Hunter himself is upset about the injury. But I don't think people should be sending death threats to Henry Blackburn. In the end, he made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but that doesn't warrant him to be receiving death threats. Plain and simple, I don't wish death upon anyone. As egregious as that was, he should not be receiving death threats one bit. The person we should be blaming this on is Jay Norvell. He is enculturating these kids with the violent mindset, a dirty mindset, basically telling his guys, hey, we can't beat these guys unless we take out their best players. I'll give you another example. Number 8 for the Rams, Kamara. I don't know his first name, nor do I care to know his first name, but he seemed to be hurt at least 3 or 4 times in that game. I don't know if they shot him up with all the steroids in the world, like he doesn't need any more steroids in the world, but he was in the game, and in the second overtime, he laid such a dirty hit on Shedeur, he was ejected from the game for a targeting penalty, and rightfully so. Do I think Henry Blackburn should have been ejected from the game? Yes, absolutely. The only reason why he wasn't ejected was because it wasn't a targeting penalty. He hit him with his shoulder. Had he hit him with his head, maybe he would have gotten ejected. Should I want Henry to be suspended? Maybe, probably for 1 game, just to make an example that we don't condone dirty plays in college football or football in general. I think that would suffice very, very well, not only for CU Buffalo fans, but for college football fans around the world. But with that being said, and those coaching methods being put out to use for millions of people to see, it just shows how much of a bitch Jay Norvell is. In the end though, Jay Norvell literally put a negative target on not only himself, but his entire team and his entire student body and his entire coaching staff put a negative target on their backs with those comments. Had he said anything out of the personal boundaries about Deion's recruiting skills, even his coaching skills, I don't think anyone would be going in on him the way they've been going in on him. And that's just the God honest truth. He is receiving so much clout from these remarks, people are just wanting to get the pitchforks out and be like, hey, we're coming for your head, coming for your neck, no strep throat. The game happened. They meet at midfield, him and Deion, and you could tell there were some words exchanged, obviously, but you could tell that Shedeur was beside Deion like a great son. And he was basically standing up for Deion, being like, hey, if you want to get crazy, we can get crazy. We could fight right here, right now. And I absolutely love that Shedeur had Deion's back through and through. I know Deion wants us to forgive Henry Blackburn and Jay Norvell for this instance, but in the end, those are fighting words. And that's very personal for someone like Deion, for Jay to say stuff like that, and there not be any repercussions. However, there are repercussions for this story. The story has a big silver lining around it. Not only did Colorado win and shut up Jay Norvell, and we'll probably never hear of Jay Norvell ever again, but with the whole shade and hat remarks, Deion bought his entire team shades and hats to wear to the game on Saturday, this past Saturday. Not only did he buy his whole team shades, he bought Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, Molly Kieram's fine ass, Pat McAfee. They all wore sunglasses from Deion's signature sunglasses line, which over this past weekend gained over $1 million in sales. So in the end, Jay Norvell's comments went to go and bite him in the ass, and I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna quote a very wise man in saying this: if you come at the king, you best not miss.
Don't come at the king. Don't ever come at the king.
In the end though, I do think these comments come from a place of jealousy and envy. When you've coached as long as Jay Norvell has, whether that be at the college level or the pro level, you can't help but to be a little bit jealous when a man who just started coaching 2-3 years ago comes out. You have The Rock there, you have Lil Wayne there, even Kawhi Leonard at the game. You know Kawhi Leonard doesn't even show up to Clippers games. He hasn't played a game since 2012, and he's out there at CU for this big game. That's impressive. Deion draws an audience that no other coach at any level can draw. So it's just peanut butter and jealous on the part of Jay Norvell.
He's motherfucking peanut butter and jealous.
Fuckers hate us because they ain't us.